Rolling.
Action.
So, hey boys and girls, welcome to the lecture 22, the last and the final lecture of land and its pollution. Now, as you people can see in the last 21 lectures, you people have come across different aspects of environment. You have seen that what resources are and how resources are to be treated. You have seen how resources are used by population, how overexploitation of resources leads to tragedies. Okay, and you have also seen that how to come up with those, how to overcome with those tragedies. You people have seen, and you have a brief idea about ecosystem, different types of ecosystems, and also you people have seen the disaster management and environmental management systems, right? After that, you have seen how air is treated. Okay, what is air pollution, water pollutants, and how these pollutants are to be clarified, right? And how it's to be treated. That also you people have seen. Okay. Now, this particular lecture, right, this will give you brief data about land and its pollution. Okay, now in the lecture number 21, you people have seen that what is land, what is earth, what is the composition of earth, what are the layers present in earth, what are the composition of this particular layers, and what is the thickness of these layers, right, and how many types of rocks are there, and what are the examples of these rocks, how many variations of rocks are there, everything you people have seen, right? After that, we have went to the solid waste part, and we have seen what solid waste are, how solid waste are to be treated, okay, and how, what are the types of solid waste, how solid waste are generated, and last but not least, we have seen that what are the 6 steps of municipal solid waste management. Okay. Now, when we had discussed about municipal solid waste management, I have explained, you might be remembering that the first step was collection, that is gaadi wala aaya, ghar se kachra nikal, so aap to kachra nikal doge, and gaadi wala will take that kachra to the storage yard, right? So second step will be storage, and after storage for 5 to 7 days, it will be transported, right, by specially designed vehicles, blue and white colored dumpers, right? And you people have seen, I guess. Okay, so the third step is the transportation. Then after that, the fourth step is recycling. So with from that, after transportation, it will be recycled, so that important articles, metals and all, if it is present, then they will be taken off and they will be recycled, right? So the fourth step will be recycling. The fifth step is treatment, because if any hazardous articles are present inside your waste, then that needs to be treated. It's very, very important. And finally, after all this, it's time to dispose the waste, right? Now, in the last lecture, I have told you that there are 4 specially designed processes by which this municipal solid waste are disposed, and today in this lecture, we will see these disposal methods, right? So basically, the lecture highlights are disposal methods of municipal solid waste, and the 4 methods are open dumping, landfill, incineration, and composting, right? Let us move into the first topic, that is open dumping. Okay. Now, the picture clearly implies that it is a waste yard, and the things are openly dumped, right? Now, open dumping is the most easiest process that we people may have, right? Now, why it is very much easiest? Here you need to just see, look around, have a 360 turn, look around that no one is watching you, and just throw it out, right? Most of the Indians practice this, okay? But it is not at all a good practice, because everywhere or anywhere we cannot dump our waste, right? There are specified places called waste bins. You have to dump your waste there. Now, what municipality does basically, if a land is kept, if any barren land disposal site is present nearby a municipality around 3 to 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers away from the locality, right? Then that land is selected by the municipality for open dumping. Now, why open dumping is preferable? Because it is very, very cheap, right? So we'll go for the advantage, disadvantages, right, later on. But here, as we can see, that open dumping is defined as the land disposal site at which solid waste are disposed and that does not protect the environment. Okay, because here everything is open, right? this solid waste that you are dumping, it has contact with groundwater, it has contact with land, it has contact with air. Easily rats, rodents, scavenger can just feed on this particular waste. Okay, it is a very good breeding place for rats and all, and it is a very good eating place for vultures, right? So it may happen that they are providing a serious threat to life and property. Adverse effect to health or environment may be observed due to open dumping, right? But you can see multiple open dumpings are present. Plenty of open dumping are here and there in our country, in our locality. So why? Because the main advantage of open dumping is that it's very easy and cheap. Just go and dump it out, and it requires very less capital and less labor. To be honest, only one driver is required, because that particular person is supposed to take the truck, right? As it is dumped, no persons are required to get it empty. Just dump it out and just return back. So nothing is required, only one driver and one truck is fine for open dumping process. Okay, that's why this is the advantage. It is very cheap, and very less capital is required, and very less labor is required basically. Now what the disadvantages are? Disadvantages will never end, because there is a thing that if you go for the cheap one, then it can never be the best one, right? So as the process is cheap, so it cannot be the best. So it does not protect environment, it causes foul smell. The waste are susceptible to disease spreading organisms like flies, mosquitoes and rodents, right? So open dumping is not preferable basically, but it is followed in many places because it is very much cheap. Okay, all right, next comes landfill. Now what this landfill is and how this landfill is different from open dumping, right? Now what is the meaning of the word landfill? This landfill name, it means that there is a piece of land which is low. Okay, a piece of land is present which is low, and it is to be filled, right? Now how this piece of land can be filled? What is the way? The way is very simple. See, first of all, you just choose a piece of land around 4 to 5 kilometers from the locality, right? The land should be low. Okay, after that you just dig a big pit inside the land. Okay, and then just make the bottom of that pit cemented, right? Make that concrete. So what will happen? This waste dumped inside the landfill, they will never get contact with the groundwater, because once it contacts with the groundwater, then serious epidemic like cholera may come, cholera and diarrhea. Okay, so historically landfill has been the most common method that is used in many places, though according to me open dumping is also very common, right? Because it is very cheap. Some landfills are also used for waste management purpose, right? That is sorting, treatment and recycling. Now landfill is designed into or on the top of the ground, in which trash is separated from the area around it, right? Landfills contain garbage to serve and prevent contamination between the waste surrounding the environment, especially groundwater. See, I've already told you that the bottom of that particular landfill area should be cemented or made concrete so that it does not contaminate the groundwater. Okay. Now, sanitary landfills are sites that are very much isolated from the environment, right? And they are safe. Okay. Now, the bricks that are used are lined with plastic and clay so that they are giving full protection versus from contamination of that particular waste to the environment. Okay. Now, what the major advantages of landfill are? See, air pollution is prevented to the largest extent because the pits are closed, right? No air pollution will be there. No foul smell will also be there. Foul smell is totally eliminated, right? Then disease-causing organisms like fly, mosquito, rodent cannot come in direct contact as the pit is covered and the area is covered. It is separated. Specific location that can be monitored where the waste can be processed to remove all recyclable articles before tripping, means proper recycling. The locations can be selected in such a way that proper recycling will happen. Okay. And landfill also will be of less cost, but it is very much costly compared to that of open dump process, right? And the main disadvantage is the groundwater pollution. Though you try to just make the groundwater less polluted, somehow if it leaks out, the groundwater pollution will happen, which is very, very dangerous. Why it is dangerous? Because it will cause a serious epidemic to the nearby area. Okay. All right. So after landfill, we are having incineration. Now, what is the meaning of this word incineration? See, incinerators we see everywhere, right? Incinerator is basically a burner, right? A burner with a big smoke releasing facility like this. Okay, so you can see there are incinerators, right? Now, human body after our death, we are also burnt inside an incinerator only, right? It is a waste treatment process basically, and is one of the most effective process. It is also called thermal treatment. Now, why I am saying it is an effective process? Because it reduces the waste by 95 to 96% by volume and 80 to 85% by mass. Now, huge amount of waste reduction occurs. That's why this process is very, very effective. But there is a problem. This type of waste actually, this type of treatment actually will release ash, flue gas, and heat. Heat will be utilized for boiler purpose and for generation of electricity, but these flue gases and ash, these are harmful to us. Okay, this is one of the major problems in making an incinerator, right? So basically, there are three types of incinerators. One is rotary kiln, in which the rotation-wise the kiln is present in such a way that overall the uniform heating occurs, right? An open pit incinerator is there, and controlled air incinerator is there. So three different types of incinerators are there that we people can discuss, right? And incineration is very, very important. Why? Especially for biomedical waste, because biomedical waste has no disposal techniques other than incineration, because they may contain bacteria, virus, and several things, right? So there is only ways to burn them out, right? So this is basically incineration. Now, what the advantage of incineration is? See, it results in utilization of energy generated through oxidation reaction, and reduction of amount of waste is huge. Basically, you know, the main aspect is the generation of electricity. Huge amount of electricity can be generated, because see, in our country, how electricity is generated? Not only our country, in several countries, how electricity is generated? Tell me. The main aspect of generation of electricity is by burning of coal, right? So coal is burned, and with that particular energy, water is boiled, right? And that boiled water produces steam. That steam rotates the turbine, right? And that turbine results in the formation of electricity, right? Now, if we can do it that way, that instead of coal, we are using the waste, right? We will burn the waste, and that will make the water boil and results in formation of steam. That steam will rotate the turbine. Same process, just coal will be switched over by waste, right? If that is done, then it is a huge, what I can say, good thing for our society and mankind, right? Now, several countries are there. Scotland is there. It has actually, they are buying waste, solid waste from all the world, right? Because they use 90% of this waste, burning of waste, for their energy generation process, right? So this was one of the main result of incineration. The main advantage of incineration, that energy formation can be done using the incinerators, right? But there is some disadvantage. The disadvantages are like this: that it is expensive to build, operate, and maintain. Yes, it is huge cost will be required for maintaining, for building this particular thing. And smoke, ash emitted by the chimneys, including gases, heavy metals, and particulates, right? Now, smoke, ash, definitely it will be released, but what we can do, we can have a smoke precipitator, so that this smoke, before getting out of the chimneys, the carbon particles, they are precipitated, right? That thing we can do. Okay, so this is all about the process which is called incineration. Now, three processes are over. Our fourth process, the last but not least, the fourth process is the composting. Okay, right? Now, what basically the process of composting is? Composting is basically the process of making manure, right? Manure, which is also called compost, using the used materials like vegetable peels and all. Okay, now composting is a form of waste disposal where organic waste disposes naturally under oxygen rich conditions, right? Food waste such as banana peel, coffee grains and eggshells are great items for compost, right? Okay, so we can take this type of articles, food articles like eggshells and vegetable peels and all, and make this type of compost which can be used for plants, which can be used as manure for the plants. Okay, now what are the advantages of this particular process is foul smell. There is no chance of foul smell. Flies and mosquitoes cannot breed. Harmful pathogens are killed. NPK is obtained. NPK means nothing but manure and fertilizer. Excessive use of fertilizer is reduced. Now here one important fact is that one very important fact actually comes in. That is how this compost is to be prepared, right? So basically a pit is to be dug into the forest, not forest, into the ground, right? And this type of vegetables and all, they are to be incorporated, vegetable peels and eggshells and all. These are to be incorporated to that particular pit. It is to be covered, and several chemicals are to be applied such that, not chemicals actually, organic bacteria and all, just like remaining tea leaves and all, this type of things if we add, then it will trigger the composting process. Okay, right? And if you add a little bit, actually basically it needs bacteria, so previous made compost also if you add there, then it will be a very beneficial thing, right? Just like we use little amount of card to make new card. Okay, this type of thing. Now, what is the basic disadvantage? You know, it's dirty and will give you a foul smell because things will rot, so the smell will not be very good. Okay, this is all about composting thing, right? Now, next number 5, there is a point given recycling, but other than recycling, we will discuss about the 4 R's principle. Okay, what is 4 R's principle? You know what the 4 R's are? Number 1 is refuse. The 4R means refuse, reduce, reuse, and this one, recycle. Okay, now if we refuse, then definitely waste will be reduced. If we reduce, then we need to reuse, and finally everything will come back to recycling. If we recycle, then everything will be very fine. Now what this recycling is, it is the process of converting waste materials into new materials, right? It is the alternative to conventional waste disposal. So if we recycle things, then there is no need to dispose them, right? Also the preparation of new materials require large amount of money and energy. Okay, so if we can reuse these materials, then it will be a very good benefit for us as well as for the environment. Okay, what the advantages of recycling is: minimizes pollution, protects the environment, conserves natural resources, right? Okay, now one more thing is there that I'd like to discuss here, because I guess this is the last slide. What are hazardous waste? What are hazardous waste? Okay, now hazardous waste, as you people will see, hazardous waste basically means how many, the question comes in this way, that how you can find out whether a waste is hazardous or not. Okay, so there are 4 criteria depending on which you are going to see whether a waste is hazardous or not, right? Now, what these criteria are: number 1, okay, so I'm writing hazardous waste because it will be of you will remember this. Okay, now this hazardous waste I have written. So basically what are the criteria that will determine whether a waste is hazardous or not? There are 4 criteria, remember very well, that are toxicity, corrosivity, ignitability and reactivity. Okay, so hazardous, if a waste is toxic enough, then it is definitely hazardous. If it is highly flammable, it can be ignited, then it is hazardous. If it is very reactive, then it is hazardous, and if it is corrosive, then also it is hazardous. Okay, so by these 4 things we can predict whether waste is hazardous or not. Okay, so that was all about the land and its pollution module. Now there are 2 lectures in this particular module, that is lecture 21 and 22, and we have come across with both the lectures. Now what we need to do, you just go through all the things, and you just try to memorize it, try to summarize it, and try to apply it. Okay, whenever you are facing problem, please tell me and we'll solve it out. Okay, so till then, thank you so much, and stay safe, protect the environment to its best extent, right? Stay happy, stay safe. Thank you.